All right, so let's have a seat on the mat and kind of get centered in. Just find your nice straight aligned spine. Let your shoulders relax. Head balancing on top of the spine. Take a super deep inhale through your nose. Big exhale through your mouth. Just kind of settle into your body for a moment. Noticing all the parts, anything that's tight or stiff, and anything that feels really pliable and open and good. Oops. Very bizarre. My phone killed itself for a second. Let's just start over. Let's have a seat. Sorry about that. And get centered in. So if you haven't already, just take a nice deep breath in. Breathe it out through your mouth. Relax your shoulders and jaw. Check in with your body. And then let's go ahead and start our deep, slow Ujjayi breath. So nice, controlled nose breathing. Partially restricted throat if you can. If you've got allergies and things going on, that may not be a good idea, in which case just breathe deep and slow through the nose. And then go ahead and check in with thoughts, emotions, energy. And go ahead and bring palms together in front of your heart, setting intentions for your practice today. So whatever your personal intention is, whatever it is that you need to gain from this next hour, and that can be in any of those realms: physical, mental, emotional, energetic. And then when you're clear on your intention, just take another deep breath in. Exhale through your mouth. We're going to go ahead and come to standing at the front of the mat. So we're just going to get really grounded and rooted before we get moving. Don't know if you guys saw that beautiful, stunning full moon eclipse last night. It was gorgeous. So when there's lots of full moon energy, we get really grounded. And I want you to just take a moment and really feel your mat beneath your feet. You might want to lift your toes and then put them back down, lift the heels. Align your spine and just take a couple of breaths, getting firmly rooted to the ground beneath you. And then we're going to inhale and reach the arms up, lift the rib cage up, and if it's okay with your neck, look up, and we're going to hold this for 2 breaths, just lifting the heart, lifting the gaze. On your next exhale, bend your knees, fold forward, relax your neck, and hang in ragdoll. So we're just going to give our spine a few breaths to lengthen if it needs to. The neck can relax, everything just stretches. And then from here, fingertips beside the feet if you can, and your knees can stay bent. In fact, they might even want to bend deeper. Just look up and lengthen your spine, and then exhale and fold forward. We're going to step back with the left foot and just hold the lunge for a moment. And this first little series going through, really continue to connect downward to the earth. So feel your hands here. Feel your feet connecting. Allow the hips to open a little bit. And then drop your left knee down. We're going to take the right hand up towards the ceiling. Bring your right hand to the inside of your right knee. Gently roll to the outside edge of your right foot and press against the inside of the knee. Just waking up that right hip and inner thigh. Let your right knee come back up towards the ceiling. Bring your arms up and overhead. Let the pelvis tilt back a little bit, rib cage lifts, and the hips move forward. So now you're trying to get some sensation on the front of your left hip. And then on your next exhale, if it feels okay, you're gonna rotate open to the right. Arms are out like a T. That left hip continues to sink forward so you feel even more stretch. Hands come down on either side of your right foot. You're gonna go ahead and extend your right leg as straight as you can get it. Flex the ankle and toes. Lengthen your chest forward so your spine is as long as possible. And then bend your right knee. Bring your right hand to the inside of the right foot, and let's see if you can come onto the left forearm. Remember, you can always use a block to help the floor rise up to meet you. Maybe you can get both arms down. Just see what's going on in your body right now. And then from here, we're going to come back up onto the hands and just take that right knee back to meet the left knee. Wag your tail a moment. And then do a couple of cat-cow stretches. Inhale and arch, and exhale and round. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and take a child's pose. Stretch out the low back a little bit. Scoot forward onto your stomach. Disengage your glutes, bring your forearms out in front of you, and pull with your forearms to create a little bit more space between your lumbar vertebrae. In other words, you're creating a wee bit more space in the low back. And then let's take our first downward facing dog. And of course, in your first down dog, you might want to pedal your feet or do some little movements. That's always okay. But then once you do kind of wiggle your way into your down dog, find a little bit of stillness and length. Step forward with your left foot. Just like we did on the other side, we'll pause here and really connect to the floor, connect to the ground. Both hands, both feet in some way are really connected downward. Drop your right knee down, take your left hand towards the ceiling. Then we're going to take the left hand and put it on the inside of the left knee, roll to the outside edge of your left foot, and apply a little bit of pressure so that you feel outer left hip, inner left thigh, waking up a little bit. Let the knee point back up towards the ceiling. Take your arms up and overhead. Pelvis tilts, rib cage lifts, hips move forward. So you want to feel this in the front of your right hip. And then if it feels okay with your back, on your next exhale, you're going to rotate open to the left. Arms are kind of out like a T. That right hip continues to move forward. Bring your hands down on either side of the left foot. Fully extend your left leg, flexing ankle and toes, lengthening your spine. And then bend that left knee again. Bring your left hand to the inside of the left foot. See if you can come onto your right forearm. Remember, it's okay to use a block. Or if you can't get to your forearms, it's okay to just bend your elbows a little bit too. If you get both elbows down, cool, but not necessary. And then from here, we'll come back up onto the hands and step forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale and reach the arms up. Exhale, palms together, in front of the heart. So we're going to be working with warriors today. All the warriors. So what I'd like you to do first is just kind of play with your stance. I'm going to give you like a super short tutorial on the warriors because we're going to flow between the three of them today and just have some fun. So kind of some general rules, and all of this is within the realms of what your body can handle. In a warrior one pose, and let's just kind of go through these super quick. Step your left leg back and get your heel flat, but widen your stance a little bit. In a warrior one pose, you want your hip bones to kind of point forward. In other words, your pelvis is parallel to the short side of your mat. Now, for warrior two, we actually want our pelvis parallel to the long sides of the mat. I have to adjust my feet because my hips are not so supple. Some of you may not need to. When I get into my warrior two stance, my right heel usually lines up with the arch of my left foot. When I'm in warrior one, my feet are about hip width apart. So kind of play with your warrior two. In that case, your hip bones or your pelvis is parallel to the long side of the mat. Go ahead and just step forward again. And let's try that on the other side, because if one hip is tighter than the other, it feels a little different. So you're going to step your right foot back. And then if you need to, like I do, you widen your stance a little bit and you rotate those hips forward. So go ahead and do that so you can see how that feels. And the point of me telling you this is because your hip alignment is far more important than your feet. And I want you to know that it's okay to adjust your footing as we transition from warrior one to warrior two or vice versa. Go ahead and adjust the feet if you need to and come into warrior two on the left side. So now your hip bones are kind of parallel to the long side of the mat. All of that's within reason. And then we'll just go ahead and step forward, feet together, palms together. Warrior three is a balance pose. We'll be throwing that in. Reverse warrior, we'll throw that in, but you can deal with those when you get there. So my point is, as we're going through this little flow, this warrior flow, I want you to feel free to adjust your footing as necessary. So here we go. Take a big inhale, reach your arms up. And then as you exhale, fold forward. I'm going to step back with my left foot. You do that too. We're going to be going into warrior one first, so adjust your feet as necessary and rise up. Arms are up and overhead. Humble warrior is to interlace the fingers behind the back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and fold forward with your left shoulder coming to the, right shoulder coming to the right thigh, relaxing the neck and reaching the arms up and overhead. Let's go ahead and come back up into warrior one. Raise those arms up and overhead. Adjust your feet if you need to and just open out into warrior two. Now I'm going to have you straighten your right leg for a moment. I don't want it to be too strenuous. And then bend your right leg again. Left hand to left thigh. Reverse your warrior. So your left hand is on your left thigh. Right arm reaches up and over. Come back up into your warrior two. Straighten your right leg again. Give yourself a moment. And then this is a really good place to adjust the feet because you're going to rotate back into warrior one. And then from here, we're going to take a warrior three. That means if you can, you're going to lift off. Take your left leg straight behind you. You want to try and get the knee straight, engage that left glute. I'm going to move my hands because I don't want to whack anything here. But the idea is that you're lengthening. And then from here, I want you to just come back up. Left foot beside right foot, palms together. It's a lot of transitioning. We'll be doing it again and again. It'll get easier. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Look up halfway. And then back down. This time, step back with your right foot. So it's a left foot forward, warrior one. So adjust your feet if you need to. Come up with your arms up and overhead. From here, we'll go into humble warrior. Hands behind the back, interlacing the fingers, Squeezing the shoulder blades together, taking left shoulder to left thigh, relaxing the neck, maybe even reaching the arms up higher. Come all the way back up into warrior one, arms are up and overhead. Adjust your feet if you need to, opening out warrior two. Go ahead and straighten your left leg, take a breath. This is some hard work. Bend your left knee again, reverse warrior, right hand, right thigh, left arm up and over. Come back up, straighten your left leg again. This is a good place to adjust your feet if you need to. You're going to transition into warrior one. And then we're going for warrior three. Lift off. Right leg extends behind you. And as much as possible, we want to try and straighten the leg and tighten the glute to get that leg to come up. Take a couple of breaths. And then right foot down the side, left foot, palms together. All right, that's a lot of warriors. We're going to kind of play with this, transitioning between them. Inhale and reach up. And exhale and fold forward. Inhale and look up halfway. And then exhale back down. The nice news is you get a little bit of a break in between. Step onto your hands and knees. Arch around your back a couple of times. Now from here, those of you that take full vinyasas, please feel free to take off. The rest of us are going to come into child's pose. Take a rest. But as you're here, I'd like to notice, like for you to notice how grounded you feel. So feel where your forehead hits the ground. Feel where your hands and your feet are touching. So you're really rooted here. And then you can scoot into either Sphinx or Cobra. And same thing. We're rooted very much through all parts of our body at any given time. And it's just nice to remember that you've always got something grounding you, especially when you're doing your balance poses. Let's go ahead and move into downward facing dog. And then walk your feet forward, standing forward bend. Inhale the arms up and overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. So let's turn sideways and take that wide step out. We're going to begin this whole series from a warrior two stance. So I'd like you to go ahead and rotate your left foot in and your right foot out, bend your right knee and find your warrior two. And pause for a moment, take a couple of breaths, just staring with a soft gaze over your right middle finger. Left hand on left thigh, right arm up and over, reverse your warrior. And then come on up from that, straighten your right leg, lengthen your rib cage out and find a triangle pose. It's rare to think of triangle pose as a resting pose, but this is kind of your rest. So enjoy it. Make sure your alignment is good and it should not feel strenuous at all. Come on back up, bend your right knee, warrior two. Now we're going to interlace the fingers behind the back, squeeze the shoulder blades together and fold right down the middle. Take a breath. Rotate now so that right shoulder is resting on right thigh. Humble warrior. Little hint, adjust your feet here if you need to, because we're coming up warrior one. And then we're lifting off warrior three. And by the way, in your warrior three, you can have your hands extended forward, which is actually where they should be. I keep having to adjust mine, my apologies, but you can adjust yours too. Now from your warrior three, if you can, put your foot way back down, warrior two, and then straighten your right leg and rotate your right foot in. Relax your arms a moment, roll your shoulders back. Good. From here, right foot rotates in, left foot rotates out, warrior two. Find your alignment and take a couple of breaths with a soft drishti or gaze over your left middle finger. Right hand on right thigh, left arm up and over, reverse warrior. Come all the way back up, straighten your left leg, lengthen your rib cage to the left, and we'll take triangle pose. And perhaps enjoy it more than usual. Come all the way back up. Bend your left knee. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Try and fold right down the midline. And then we're going to start to rotate to the left, taking left shoulder to the top of the left foot. Nice place to adjust the feet if you need to. And then rise up, warrior one. And then we lift off, warrior three. If you can, you're going to put your right foot back down, warrior two. Straighten that left leg, rotate your feet in, relax your arms, and roll your shoulders back. And then just toe heel your feet together, give your bum a little wiggle if you need to, and then come back to the front of the mat with your feet together, palms together in front of your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale and look up halfway, and then exhale, back down. Step back onto hands and knees. Take that little tail wag. Remember, you can take regular vinyasas if you like. And then take a child's pose and come back into awareness of how grounded you feel. Scoot forward into either Sphinx or Cobra. Still staying very connected to the earth. And then downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, walk your feet forward. Standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. I know how much you guys like balance, and I'm sure you've really been enjoying the warrior threes. We're going to do it a third time. 3 warrior threes. This time I'm going to have you go into it a little differently. I know this is Martha's favorite way to go into it. So your arm position this time can be whatever you want it to be. You can have your hands in prayer. You can have your arms overhead. You can even have your fingers interlaced behind you. Do whatever makes you comfortable. I'm just going to keep my hands in prayer because I keep hitting stuff. You may do whatever you like with your hands, but your heart should be lifted and you want a really nice straight spine. We're going to stand on our right foot first. So just bring your left knee up into your chest. And then as you hinge at your right hip, let that left leg extend behind you. But again, as you get extended out, try and really straighten the left leg and activate the left glute to get the leg to raise up. Come back up, plant your left foot down. Same thing on this side. So you're standing on your left foot, you're gonna bring your right knee up in towards your chest. And then as you hinge at your left hip, extend your right leg out behind you. Try and get the leg straight. It's very challenging in this pose. Try and get your leg straight and use the glute to lift the leg. And then come on back up and release. Let your arms come down to your sides. Roll your shoulders back. Feet together, palms together. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale and look up halfway. And then exhale, back down. Step back onto your hands and knees. Arch and round a couple of times. So all of the warriors that you've done, all the variations of them, are some version of Virabhadrasana. Virabhadra was a warrior who was an offshoot of Shiva. And so most people think of him as the main warrior, the only warrior. But there was another warrior also, Vasishta. Vasishtasana is a side plank. I'm going to take you guys through a modified one, and then if you're feeling extra sassy today, you could do the full thing. We're going to get to it from all fours. So what I'd like you to do is kick your right foot out like a kickstand. Take your left leg, extend it, and get that left foot flat. And take your left hand to the ceiling. This is a perfectly acceptable modified side plank. Now, if you're feeling like you can, you would extend your right leg, flex the foot, and stack the left foot on top of it. And then if you can, you gaze up towards your left hand. Bring it all back down, hands and knees. Same thing on the other side, honoring this other warrior, Vasishta. Left foot extends out, kicks out like a kickstand. Right leg is straight with the foot flat. Right hand towards the ceiling. This is a great place to stay, by the way. If you feel like it, left knee comes up, the feet flex and stack on top of each other. And the gaze shifts up towards the right thumb. Bring it all back down, hands and knees. Give yourself a good tail wag. And then just to let that arm and shoulder have a break, let's go into traditional threading the needle. Take your right arm underneath you and just rest on that shoulder and gently press with your left hand to roll into that back right shoulder blade area. And then come on out and we'll just switch sides. Left arm goes underneath, threading the needle. Rest on your shoulder, gently press with your right hand to get a little bit more rotation. Come on out of that. Give yourself a tail wag. Those of you that would like a final vinyasa, you may take it. The rest of us are going to take one last child's pose. And then scoot forward into either Sphinx or Cobra. And then downward facing dog. And really, really lengthen in your down dog. Connect your hands as much as you can to the earth. So spread your fingers, flatten out your palms. Push your hips back. And really reach those heels down towards the ground. Walk your feet forward and have a seat with your legs extended in Dandasana. So as you come into your staff pose, you want to make sure you feel your sit bones. Make sure your legs are active, spine is straight. Head is aligned on top of the spine. And you're just checking in with everything. And I want you to notice as you're going through your little checklist of body, breath, mind, heart, energy, as a result of doing all of these warriors, notice if you have a sense of strength. And that can be internal fortitude, inner strength, as well as physical strength. Notice if you have a sense of stability, of being grounded. And then just inhale and reach your arms up and overhead. And as you exhale, lengthen your torso out over your legs. Let the arms relax. You are welcome to grab whatever the hands are near, but don't let it be a grasping, neck tensing action. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed and that you are just gently clasping your calves or your ankles or your feet. Come on up from that. We're going to keep the right leg straight and bring the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Lean out over your right leg, however you like. The same thing though, keep your shoulders relaxed. Wherever your right hand is, it's perfect. Leave it there. Just kind of lift the torso a little bit and reach your left arm behind you. And then I want you to just start bending your right elbow as though you were going to put your right armpit on your right knee. It doesn't have to go there, but that's the direction you're moving. Relax your neck. And then keeping your left hip really grounded, reach your left arm up and over your head. So it's kind of parallel to the floor. And you reach. Left hip presses into the floor. Left arm reaches out. You feel the left side of the torso stretch. And then wherever your right hand is, you're just going to let your left hand go there. Your right hand is going to come beside your right hip with the palm flat. So the first thing I want you to do is slightly bend your left elbow. It doesn't matter if it's a lot or a little, but please bend your left elbow and kind of pull yourself forward. Keep that while you press a little bit with that right hand to twist and look over your right shoulder. So you should feel this behind your left shoulder blade, maybe down the whole left side of your torso. Keep breathing and also keep noticing how grounded you are. Right hand, both sit bones, both legs. Come back up from that. And all we're going to do is pick this left leg up and bring it across the right thigh with the left foot completely flat. Activate your right leg. And then we're going to do our best twist to the left. And what that means is your spine is really straight and vertical as you rotate, bringing your left hand behind you and either just hugging your left knee or bringing the right arm outside of it. Rotate all the way around, extend your left leg out. Reconnect to your sit bones, wiggle if you need to. We're going to keep the left leg straight, bring the right foot to the inside of the left thigh, lean out over your left leg. Again, make sure your shoulders stay relaxed. They don't need to be involved in this at all. Wherever your left hand is, it's perfect. Keep it there. Just raise your torso a little bit. Reach your right arm back behind you. Begin to bend your left elbow as though you were going to put your armpit on your knee. And then take your right arm straight over your head, parallel to the ground, and reach through those right fingertips while you keep pressing your right hip or right sit bone into the ground. Wherever your left hand is, put your right hand there instead and bring your left hand by your left hip. Bend your right elbow a little bit. So important. Bend that right elbow, pulling yourself forward, keeping the bend in the right elbow, but kind of pushing with your left hand to twist and look over left shoulder. Now you should feel this a little bit behind right shoulder blade, maybe even down the whole right side of your torso. And then come on up from that. We're going to pick the right foot up and bring it across the left thigh. The right foot completely flat, left foot active. And do our best seated twist on the right. So your spine is straight. You're rotating to the right. Right hand comes to the floor behind you, either hugging right knee or bringing left arm outside of it. Excellent. Rotate back around. Extend your right leg out. Give your legs a good wiggle. And then hands behind you. Just bring the soles of your feet together. You want to keep your spine nice and straight. Keep your sit bones nice and grounded. Extend the legs out to the sides and then press the knees down. Hold this for a couple of breaths. So your practice so far has been somewhat rigorous, and it was designed to be that way to counteract all of the lunar energy. It was very grounding. was very yang and active compared to lunar energy, which is very yin and passive. And it also has a lot to do with confidence and stability and strength, which is kind of solar plexus region. So all of those things are coming into play. All of that is to say, extend your legs out, wiggle them a little bit, that in keeping with that theme, we're going to be doing a tiny bit of abdominal work. So go ahead and roll onto your back, hug your knees in, and rock side to side. So we're going to do the easier version of an Anna Forrest crunch. And what I'd like you to do is just keep your knees bent, but get your thighs vertical. So what your body wants to do is kind of pull your knees into your chest to keep your back flat. I want you to go ahead and let your knees drift a slight ways out from your chest, at least vertical, so that there is a slight arch in the back, because we're going to use our abdominal muscles to tilt the pelvis to remove that. Now your feet can just hang in the air, or you can have them sticking out parallel to the floor, but your feet are not touching the floor. Thighs stay vertical. Interlace your fingers behind your neck, not your head. Don't grab the back of your head, grab the back of your neck, and then point your elbows up towards the ceiling so you'll feel like you're wrapping your neck. That's the kind of support we want. And here we go. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath, flatten your back by tilting the pelvis, and then exhale and crunch, elbows towards thighs. Breathe out until your lungs are totally empty, and then inhale down. Hold your breath, flatten your back, exhale, crunch, elbows towards thighs. Inhale back down. Hold your breath. Flatten the back. So you're tilting the pelvis back. As you exhale, you're crunching up, trying to get your shoulder blades off the floor, keeping your back flat, emptying your lungs. Inhale down. We're going to do two more. Hold the breath. Flatten the back. Exhale and crunch. Make sure your thighs are staying vertical. Last one. Inhale down. Hold your breath. Flatten the back and exhale. Crunch. Hug your knees in, rock side to side. So from here, we're going to keep the right knee hugged in and extend the left leg all the way out onto the ground. Just hold that for a moment. And then transition this into a spinal twist. Let your right arm open out to the right. You're going to twist yourself to the left. Now you can just let that right foot kind of flop over somewhere on the floor to the left of your left leg. Or if you want a deeper twist, you can hook the toes of the right foot behind your left knee or thigh. If you need less of a twist, you would bend both knees, and that will make it a little gentler. On your next inhale, come on back up. Hug your right knee in, bring your left knee up to meet it. You're welcome to rock if you like. And then keep your left knee hugged in and extend your right leg all the way out to the floor. Just hold this for a couple of breaths. And then we're going to transition this into a twist. So your left arm opens out to the left, and you just twist to the right. If it's all right with your neck, your head turns to the left. So same thing here. Left foot can be to the right of your right leg. You can hook the toes of the left foot inside the right knee or thigh, or you could bend both knees to make it a little gentler. On your next inhale, come on back up, and as you exhale, hug your left knee in And bring your right knee up to meet it. Give yourself a nice side-to-side rock. So because you've had a rigorous practice that was somewhat of a heated solar plexus oriented practice, my recommendation for your inversion, if you can, if it's part of your practice, is to do a supported shoulder stand. Now, I don't know what the area that you're practicing in is like, but here are some options. Like if you've got neck and shoulder problems and a shoulder stand's not a good idea, you might consider, if you're close to a wall, you might consider spinning around and putting your legs up the wall. Or if you've got furniture nearby, you might consider putting your feet up on a chair and just letting it be a gentle inversion rather than doing bridge. But if that's your only option, you can do that too. Otherwise, go ahead and try and get your hips into your hands. If you are going to do a shoulder stand, make sure you maintain a little bit of curve in the back of your neck. And then slowly come on down. Hug your knees in, rock side to side. And then we're going to put the feet flat on the mat with the knees bent. And then I want you to walk your feet just outside the edges of the mat. So we're going to be doing rhythmic movement here. You're not going to have a ton of time in each stretch. So my recommendation is breathe really slow, long breaths, and you'll have more time. What we're going to do is with the feet wide, we're going to exhale both knees to the right. You should feel a gentle stretch on that left outer hip as you inhale, bring the knees back up. Exhale, drop them to the left. You should feel a gentle stretch on your right outer hip. Inhale the legs back up. You're just going to keep going at your own speed. So a lot of the warrior poses really engage the outer hips, and this kind of unwinds them. Just go at your own breath rate. The slower you breathe, the more time you have to kind of linger in the pose on each side. We'll go maybe a couple more times on each side. And as you finish out, keep your feet wide and then prop your knees together. Slightly different way to get into the outer hips. Now, for those of you who have incredibly supple hips, you might be able to keep your knees together and get your feet even farther apart. But just make sure you keep your knees touching. We're going to take 3 more breaths here. And then just kind of slowly walk your feet in towards each other and then hug your knees into your chest and rock side to side. Reach down and grab the outside edges of your feet. Do a little bit of self-exploration, a little organic movement just to see how everything's feeling. So you don't have to move in happy baby. But that's kind of the joy of this pose, is that there's really no rules. You can do whatever you want, which is kind of fun. So have a little bit of fun with it. Check and see how the lower body's doing. And then when you feel like you're ready, and you may certainly take your time doing this, bring your feet back down to the mat. We're going to have the soles of the feet touching on the mat now with the knees dropped open. Just rest in this position for a couple of breaths. And then on your next inhale, flatten the back. So you're just doing that pelvic tilt again, kind of like we did in the crunches, except now it's not very hard and you don't have to crunch. On your next exhale, release, let the curve come back into your low back. One more time, inhale, flatten the back, tilt the pelvis, press your low back into the mat. Feel how grounded you feel when you do that. And then the next time you exhale, release. You can begin to extend your legs. Separate your feet a little bit. Wiggle if you need to. Make sure your glutes are relaxed. Your spine is long. Shoulders are relaxed. Hands are below the height of the heart, preferably with palms facing up towards the sky. You should have space between your teeth because your jaw is relaxed. Your eyes are just lightly closed. Your forehead is smooth. Take a huge inhale through your nose. Big exhale through the mouth. Relax. Just relax. Give yourself 100% permission to let go. All muscular tension is free to leave because you are completely supported by the ground beneath you. Give yourself permission to let go of control of your breath. You'll find that the more relaxed you become, the softer and gentler your breath becomes. So we're going to work with this idea of letting go. Last night's huge lunar event, that full moon lunar eclipse, it's kind of like a full moon on steroids. And full moons are about culminations, releasing things, letting go. So we talk about that a lot, but what does that really mean? It means truly that we should be letting go of the things that aren't in our best interest. And how you do that is to first identify your core values. So as you're lying here in this deeply relaxed state, I want you to think for a moment of one or two top core values, things that are incredibly important to you. These are your core values. And it's no mistake that the word core is used. This is solar plexus. This is our own centeredness. We are strong and stable and centered in our core when we are in alignment with our core beliefs or our core principles. So as you come up with these core values, I want you to then give yourself permission to let go of anything that is not in alignment with them. That might mean that you have to give up a certain belief, or maybe let go of a thought pattern, or a judgment, or a criticism. It might mean all sorts of things, but that's where that warrior spirit comes in. That's where our strength comes in. We are strong enough to look at the things we're holding on to that are not in our best interest. And even more importantly, we're strong enough to let them go. So for these next couple of minutes, I'd like you to release anything that is not in alignment with your core values. If you've been able to release anything, I want you to just notice how that makes you feel. Not only mentally, emotionally, and energetically, which it certainly will have an effect on that, but even physically. Oftentimes, when we let go of things that are not in alignment with our core values, we instantly feel lighter and looser and even more relaxed. You're in a relaxed state right now, but did you feel an even deeper state of ease when you were able to identify and release something that was no longer in your best interest? And then feel back into your midsection, your solar plexus, the place where your own inner sun resides that balances out all the lunar energy that's in the world right now. Feel back into your solar plexus and maybe even think to yourself, I am strong, I am stable, I am confident, I am grounded. And then you can start to move your fingers and toes a little bit. Start to deepen your breath. Take a deeper inhale through the nose. Spread your fingers and toes. Exhale through the mouth and relax your fingers and toes. Take an even deeper breath in and just stretch. And exhale, relax. Bend your knees. Maybe that means hugging them in today, maybe not. When you're ready, roll to your right side and then press yourself up into sitting. And as you come to sitting, you want to find that same straight, aligned spine that we had at the beginning of class. So each vertebra is beautifully stacked on top of the one beneath it. You feel like you're really aligned, straight and relaxed, easy and comfortable and steady. Just take the opportunity to check in with your body and your breath and your mind and your heart and your energy, maybe even with your intention. So in keeping with our theme for class today, counteracting lunar energies, staying grounded through our warrior spirit, which is of course solar plexus region, we're going to do Kapalabhati breath. It is actually the perfect breath for this because in addition to all of those things, it's also a kriya, which is a purification. And anything that we've let go, see now we're purifying ourselves. So Kapalabhati breathing requires that you've got that lengthened abdomen. If your hips are tight and you are hunched, you're going to want to elevate the hips or sit on something or extend your legs. You need length in the abdomen because we're going to forcefully contract it to press the air out. And then when we relax it, the air comes in. So it's a very forceful exhale, passive inhale, all through the nose if possible. And today, because it was a super, super, super full moon with an eclipse, we're going to do 2 rounds of Kapalabhati. Please go at the speed that works for you. If you just start losing it, just breathe deeply. It's fine. And in between, I'm going to ask you to raise your arms, spread the fingers, hold your breath for 3 seconds, and come back down. So that's enough talk. Straight spine, lengthened abdomen. Deep inhale through the nose. Full exhale through the nose. Deep inhale through the nose. Breathe out half of your air and begin Kapalabhati. Big inhale, arms up. Spread your fingers, hold for 3, 2, 1. Exhale the arms down. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, half your air out, round 2. Big inhale, arms up. Spread your fingers and then just exhale and float your arms down, palms coming together in front of your heart. Just take a moment in gratitude. Gratitude for your fortitude. Gratitude that you have warrior strength, warrior spirit, warrior confidence, warrior stability. Because it takes strength to let go, to release. It takes strength to always live in alignment with our core principles. So take a moment in gratitude for your strength, gratitude for this amazing body that you currently inhabit, gratitude for your breath, and gratitude for your mind that is able to observe all of these things. Take one more huge breath in through your nose. Big exhale to the mouth. Bringing our palms together in front of our foreheads, we're just reminded to stay present and stay in the moment. Bringing our palms together in front of our mouths, we're reminded to speak our truth. And bringing our palms together in front of our hearts, we're reminded to keep our hearts open, to always practice kindness, compassion, and unconditional love. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.